Pacers Sports Entertainment is all about creating unforgettable fan experiences.
There was a significantly underserved segment that came to our events.
There aren't very many arenas that account for the hard of hearing.
Pacers fans, make some noise!
We teamed up with Microsoft to build a real-time speech-to-text solution. In a matter of weeks, we boosted accuracy from 91% to nearly 99%.
To be able to put on a show, to put on an experience for fans that's creating memories for them is one of my favorite things to do.
Good morning, everyone. I really could not be more excited or more honored to be with you than I am today at the Ability Summit. My name is Mandy Rutledge, and I lead our sports, media, and entertainment business here at Microsoft. Shout out to the Pacers and to the Indiana Fever. Carl was unfortunately on his way here today and unable to join us because of airline complications. We've all been there, but so grateful for the work that we do at that organization. What we'll talk about today is work that I find so deeply powerful, and it's the work that goes around inclusive fan engagement. And why I find it powerful is because when we talk about inclusive fan engagement, what we're really talking about is who gets to feel that sense of belonging and that sense of connection and that energy that sports creates for all of us. And what we're going to talk about isn't aspirational. It's actually happening today because of the great work that these great leaders are driving in our industry. So please join me in welcoming Peter Tomazawa from FIFA World Cup 26. Then we have Karen Wilkins-Mickey from the Super Bowl champion, Seattle Seahawks. And we have Jared Mace
That's
from
worth a
OneCourt.
clap out.
Thank you for joining us. Maybe we'll start with you, Peter. I think you've had a very interesting journey from witnessing the Paralympics in Rio to now bringing accessible tech into live sports. What did it take to move from a personal passion into the actual realization of that vision in arenas? What did you learn along the way?
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, I'm Peter Tomazawa. I don't work for FIFA. I work for a 501c3 that is charged with bringing in and maximizing the World Cup. We're hosting it in 26 days, 12 hours, and 17 minutes and 75 seconds, or 35 seconds, but who's counting? Yeah, it's upon us. And my journey into sports, I wasn't always into sports in terms of a profession. This is kind of my fourth pivot into a career. And we moved here to Seattle in 2015 for my son's soccer. He played for the Seattle Sounders Academy. We were living in Hawaii at the time. Didn't know a soul in Seattle. Went to go work in LA. I commuted every week for 2.5 years to LA to bid on the Olympic Games. And in that process, we won the Olympics for 2028. It's not because I'm so great. I'm more the Asian version of Forrest Gump. So take whatever I say with kind of like the Forrest Gump lens on it. But I was the only representative from our team that spent the entirety of the Rio Paralympic Games, and I was exposed to adaptive sport then, and I completely fell head over heels in love with adaptive sports. To me, that is more inspiring for the world to see than the Olympic Games. Paralympics should be front and center. And from that moment, I pledged that if I ever got into a position where I could help influence adaptive sport, I would do so. And that journey started 10 years ago. I joined the Paralympic Advisory Council for the US OPC. And so I did that for 3 years, talking about the different issues of how we get adaptive sports to be main stage, front center, as it deserves to be. And just, I won't talk all the air because you want to hear from other people. But the point is, when I was named CEO of the World Cup Organizing Committee for Seattle, my first instinct, my first pillar was inclusion and accessibility. We sold FIFA on selecting Seattle with those two front and center. And we were rewarded by FIFA. We were selected, of course, but we were rewarded. We're one of two cities to have a Juneteenth match and a Pride match day. Don't ask me why Boston got the other one, because they didn't do anything to deserve it. But, and I know it's online, so I'm going to get roasted for that. But honestly, it was just an amazing privilege and experience. So around our accessibility pillar, we focused on growing the sport by promoting blind soccer. Blind soccer is a Paralympic sport. The U.S. men's national team, they don't have a women's team yet, but they will. But blind soccer will be a feature sport in the Paralympic Games in 2028. I knew that because of my Olympic work. So I hatched a plan 3 years ago on how do we figure out blind soccer. We have a special announcement to make at the end of this panel on that. And the other thing was we wanted to make it not just accessible to play, but we wanted to make it accessible to be there. And so my relationship with OneCourt started with that thought, and more on that. So basically, it's been accumulation. It's been so heartwarming to see it come to fruition. And we're only a few weeks away, and you're going to see more about that.
It's so exciting.
Oh,
thank you for sharing. Karen, I know that you have got a very personal passion about being in this space as well. So I'd love it if you would share a bit with us about that.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. My journey doing this work actually started here at Microsoft 21 years ago. So I don't have a sports background. I do now. I'm 5 seasons at the Seattle Seahawks doing this work, and I'm just so honored and thrilled to hold the position that I have doing diversity, equity, and inclusion work for the Seattle Seahawks. I have a son who is on the spectrum. He's neurodivergent. He is 21 now because he was a Microsoft baby. My daughter's here too. She's a Microsoft baby also. There she is. But it's very personal to me, making sure that spaces are available for him and for everyone. And so when I think about football and being in a space where everyone should enjoy the game, he should be able to enjoy the game, should he come to the stadium. And what does that look like? So we are very fortunate because our GM, John Schneider and Tracy Schneider, have a son also on the spectrum, and they started a sensory-friendly room before I started. And when I began, I did a little refresh on that room and partnered with Culture City to create Ben's room. We decided to name it after Ben, who is Tracy and John Schneider's son. And it is just a place where anyone can go. If you're at a game, there's a lot going on at a game. Sometimes it's never too much for me, but never too much for me. But I want all fans to have a place and to be comfortable. So if you're watching a game and you feel like it's a little bit too much, to be able to step away, go into this space of calm, to just center yourself is really helpful. And so, I always have him in mind when I'm doing my work of inclusion and just thinking, how will he feel in this space? And so just making sure that, football is for everyone. And so making sure that we have an environment where all fans can have a great experience. So it is personal to me, but it's also just the right thing to do.
Agree completely.
I'm trying to do the math. 21 years at Microsoft.
I'm 27.
Yeah.
So you started at Microsoft when you were 10.
I was a baby as well.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were allowed to work at 10. But
True. Yeah.
Amazing.
Microsoft does wonders.
We learn things every day, every day.
Child prodigy.
Jared, I'm going to move to you. OneCourt's rethinking what it means to experience a game if you're blind or have low vision. So share with us a little bit about what that actually feels like if you are a fan and what it took to build that.
Yeah. Well, for those that don't know, OneCourt is a tactile broadcast. So it's a new format for watching sports. And we built this new tablet that allows fans to basically watch the game with their fingertips. And we're doing this in live venues already. I mean, 2 of the folks here on stage with me, Karen and Peter, both know that so well. I mean, we've done work with the Seahawks and a Club World Cup leading into this summer. And I think for fans, what it actually feels like is just a new and immersive way to engage with a game that maybe felt a little bit far away or inaccessible to them. Like some of the current experiences today, many fans are accustomed to listening to the game or waiting to hear what happened after the fact. So everyone around you's reacted and you're waiting to get caught up. And I think we all agree that's not accessible, it's not inclusive, and it's not in line with our vision that sports are for everyone. So I think OneCourt is supporting that mission and bringing fans to the real-time experience, both in the venues and soon to be at home. So it's something unique, and most people don't have a reference for it. Like when your phone vibrates, it's the entire thing. But when OneCourt vibrates, it's a pinpoint area, and you can imagine feeling your favorite player moving across the pitch, all in real time.
Amazing.
It is amazing.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
And Jared is too modest because he's in the NBA. Not only is he in the NFL, he's in the NBA, the NHL, the MLB. We got him into the FIFA Club World Cup last year, and I had
Super Bowl.
From the Super Bowl.
Double 60.
You're going to take double dip
Sorry.
because NFL's.
I mean, Super Bowl.
I guess it's
legit.
by its own self.
Yeah, legit.
But-
And Jared shared with me, I'm going to pile on with you, Peter. Jared shared with me earlier, for all of you aspiring college students that are thinking about careers in this space, I think this was born as a junior at the UW, right?
Yeah,
And
we
so-
started locally. I mean, just in our backyard here at the University of Washington. A group of students, a team that formed there who represent all the areas of this work, whether that's through lived experience or professional experience in the world of design, technology, hardware, software. I mean, it really takes a mountain to build something like this, and just so grateful to all of our partners along the way, whether it's Microsoft, T-Mobile, Ticketmaster, the individuals, the community. Like it's taken everybody.
Agreed.
We had this thing last year with the Club World Cup where we were testing out the connectivity and the devices, and I had the privilege of sitting next to a group of people that had these devices, and their partners were there. They're crying because their partners were experiencing live sports, and they were just the smile on that face was priceless. It just warms the heart. But what was really interesting was this was not just a fan experience for the individual. It was the entire section. They were like, what is that? Wow, look, they were like so into the whole experience. We were front page news on that day, and now OneCourt's going to be in the actual World Cup. And for those that are not familiar, the global television audience of the World Cup, the unique viewers in 2022 was 5 billion viewers. That's 5/9 of the world, right? We're uniquely watching this. This is going to be the biggest thing for OneCourt, the exposure you're going to get for that, but it, more importantly, is the right thing to do. It's the focus we've had from day one, and he's been such a great partner. The whole organization has been terrific, and Microsoft did. Actually, you guys won the competition, right? The Microsoft competition?
Well, I'll tell this story if we have the time. Microsoft is so integral to our story as a company because, as students, we were beginning to make this transition to the real world. Can we do it? Can we make this a real company? And it was the same month that we graduated that we were awarded a grant from Microsoft's AI for Accessibility program. And I know some of those folks are here. So thank you to Jenny, Ioana, Aaron, Bryce, everyone who's been involved in that process. I mean, that allowed us to go out, spend the time, pay ourselves rent and ramen, and make this impact.
Rent and ramen, on point. That the exclamation point that you put on the fan experience and how broad that will be is so exciting, and I can't wait. When I think about fan experience, I am hard-pressed to think about any fans that are more passionate or just bigger, bolder in their fandom than Seattle Seahawks fans. I had the privilege one year of flying on the way to a Seattle Super Bowl from Seattle to New York with a whole plane full of Seahawks fans. Amazing, like my favorite airplane ride of all time. So, Karen, maybe I can ask you, what does that feel like for a fan on game day when you're actually, what is the fan experience when you're actually at Lumen Field? Talk to me about what that looks like.
It's insane. And in a good way, insane. But it really is. There's no one like there's no fan better than our 12s. Our 12s they are definitely what makes us great. I mean, their energy, the players will say it, you've heard them say it over and over again, how you being out there while they're playing that game is really what gets them going. And so making sure that everyone feels that is important to me. And so when I started working with OneCourt, I feel like a couple of years ago, I was like, this has to happen. Like, we need to figure this out. And I remember saying, I need you to do this here. Like, you're local and I need to support you. Like, I'm your team. Like, let's do this. And so I was so excited when we worked with the league to figure out a way to do some testing, because testing for soccer or for the NBA, very different. The arena is different. The sizing is different. We are 70,000 people deep, and the stadium is huge. So doing the testing and getting it right was very, very important to get to the place where we were at the Super Bowl to be able to provide it there as well. But just going through that experience was incredible. But what I will say, I know that we're out of our time, but I invited Jenny to come to our deaf awareness game. We have game themes. A lot of people don't realize that. When you watch the game, I want you to pay very close attention to the inclusion on the field when you watch a game, whether it's on television or if you're in our stadium. Take a look around. There's a lot of inclusion. There's a lot of accessibility. And when Jenny came, I invited her and I gave her a full experience, tour, whole thing. At the end of it, she sent a message and she put it on LinkedIn, who I know is watching right now. LinkedIn, a beautiful post that I saw afterwards saying the experience was world class for accessibility. And I had a tear because having Jenny say that meant we were doing something right in our venue. And we truly are a place where football is for everyone, and just you can see that sports connects people in every way, everybody. Everyone enjoys it, and it's where we all can unite and come together. And so hearing someone like Jenny who went and had that experience, walk away feeling such pride and knowing that we are doing it right, I was ecstatic. And then being able to work with Jared and the team with OneCourt was just one of the highlights of my season, and he knows this. It was a highlight for me to be able to provide that experience, that fan experience, and myself to personally experience it, and to see the people around, everyone using it. It's like, what is that? Can I do it? Can I use it? And I'm like, I'm so sorry, we only have 5. But we're testing, but it was just great. And to be part of it and to be an advocate, I'm like now OneCourt's chief advocate officer next to Peter, I guess.
You have amazing brand ambassadors.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you for letting me share
We need
that.
OneCourt scarves.
Exactly. We're gonna add to our swag.
Yes.
I'm gonna close, and I know. Thank you for indulging us with a few extra minutes, everyone. I'm gonna close with one question because I think it's an important question. We're in a room and in an online community of 20,000 people who care deeply about creating an inclusive world. So if I were to ask each one of you, what is one thing that we could do tomorrow that would contribute to that goal of inclusivity in our world, what would you say? Peter.
I would say one word: respect. You need to respect people for who they are. And I love that this conference is called the Ability Conference. You know, I was in, as I said, the Paralympic Advisory Council, and there's always a debate, should it be called disability, or, you know, there's always, how is it described? I love that this is Ability Conference because it shows respect. And I think that you need to respect people for people. And it starts in the core of your heart. And if you can accept and be open, you can do so much. The world will be such a better place.
Yeah, I think for me, it's really putting yourself in other people's shoes all the time in everything that you do. Whether it doesn't matter what the industry, what the space is, just imagine, what if? And I think that sometimes we even started the conversation about having your personal connection. We all have lived experience, our personal connection to this work, whether it's what we do for a living, like myself. It started out, I think someone said being human and the human connection. And I mean, it's just think about what someone else's experience is. Like, wow, could someone do this if they were in a wheelchair? Could someone enjoy this if they couldn't see the game? How can I make that happen for them? Always put yourself in someone else's shoes and have compassion. And you never know what someone else is going through and what someone else's story is. So respect is key, but also compassion for someone's situation.
Mm-hmm. Jared.
I think I really lean on the word expectation. I think it's something that is so powerful in sports and in technology. I think we're entering a new world where we are expecting inclusion and accessibility from day one. It's not a nice to have. It's something that you can go to a venue and you know that OneCourt's going to be there, or you know that there's a sensory room or other accommodations that are available to support fans. It's just something I'm so thrilled that we've come together as a community to make that happen.
Mm-hmm. That is a beautiful closing note. Thank you.
I have a special announcement.
Thank you. Yes. Last but most certainly not least, we have a special announcement from Peter. Peter, please.
They can cue it up. Want to talk about the real football?
He gave me a scarf, so I'm not debating you.
Yeah. You gotta indulge me because
I'm
we're
gonna
only,
have it.
Yeah.
26 days.
Yeah, then you can have it back after 26 days. This weekend, we are hosting a blind soccer international tournament. The U.S. men's national team, which have selected Seattle as the Pacific Northwest hub as the build-up into the LA Paralympic Games, will be playing Kazakhstan and Peru. And these are not friendly matches. These are matches that actually count. Kazakhstan and Peru are trying to qualify for the Paralympic Games in LA 2028. US is already in. They're going to be gauging where they are at against global competition. This is a free event. This is at Interbay Stadium in Ballard. If you're around this weekend, please come. It's so inspiring to watch and witness and experience blind people playing soccer. Imagine, we held a blind soccer clinic in December at Magnuson Park where sighted people and unsighted people played soccer together. It was just so inspiring to see that happen and how it works. And then we're going to donate the field to Galt Field, which is in Tacoma, which will be a permanent location for blind soccer. But please come out.
Amazing. Amazing. I want to say thank you to everyone in the room today, and I want to say thank you to everyone that's joined us online. Remember that we move forward when we all move together. Enjoy the summit. Have an amazing Ability Summit. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.